become reality. At SET2LOVE, we offer strategies and ideas on how you can stay out of crazy town. See, your human experience is meant to be lived with meaning, purpose, and creativity. You are here to contribute through your essence. We are best friends, moms, entrepreneurs, and above all, find our flow in assisting you to find yours. We come together weekday mornings to bring you ideas to fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on. Take what works and ditch the rest, and always stay set to love. Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go. How do you get in touch with your own intuition better? That is what Shelly and I are going to be talking about today on Set to Love. Welcome to another episode. We're very excited to have you. Hi, friends.
Good morning. So excited to be here.
How was your trip? You made it home.
Oh my gosh, I had a wonderful trip, but I did not want to get up this morning. You know, you party and have fun. You just want to sleep in. It was wonderful. We golfed. We did electric bikes, which was really fun. Just a great time. Played cards. Very much needed fun, relaxing time. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. And I love your kitchen. When I dropped off your little dog the other day, I went in and saw, and I was like, this is really nice. This is coming along.
It's coming along. How about yourself? You're doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's a quiet at the house with all the kids at their dads, so it's just a very productive week, a sad, lonely week, but productive. There's always good in everything. So I got the dogs, I got the boyfriend, so I guess I'm not all alone. And I have you and all of our viewers.
Always.
So yay.
Always.
Welcome to another show, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Yesterday, Shelly and I talked about intuition and what it is and why it's important. And today we're talking about how do you cultivate more of your own intuition? How do you get in touch with that guidance system, that built-in guidance system that every single one of us has? This isn't like, we're all psychic, even though, heck, I don't know, maybe we all are. Intuition is really this companion. It's knowing without knowing how you know it. It's just this inner sense that this is the direction I should be going, or this is the choice I should make, or this is the thing I should say, or that thing I should do. And most of the time, it's guiding you in the direction of love and wholeness. And it's a beautiful thing to cultivate. Do you have any thoughts on that before we jump into some actual activities people can do to increase their intuition?
I think that voice too can really tell you when even you can make a mistake. It can tell you. So watch for the roadblocks. I mean, that's a really good sign, because a lot of times, even if it's dating or something, it doesn't matter. If you get that little voice that's telling you something's not right, I'm not saying ditch the whole idea. It's just pay attention to what your intuition. And I think in the negative side of that, meaning that's a negative example, but one that most people can relate with more than relying on the good, which is what we want people to do. But it's a great example that you can kind of get the idea of what that feels like. Now we're going to tap them into a positive way of hearing that voice.
Yeah, I love that, because Shelly, that dives into one of the activities. I was doing a little bit of research and I intuitively wrote some things down. So we've got a bunch of different ideas. I want to just touch on some of them briefly, but one of them is feel more and think less. We use our minds to ruminate so much. We're worried about the past, thinking about the future. What do I need to do today? It's all the thinking, and we don't trust how we feel about things. We don't trust how it feels in our gut, in our heart, in our bodies, whatever that thing is that you're, like you said, the person you're dating, or do you take this job, or which direction should you move? Just how does it feel? Does it feel better to move with it or away from it, or just be open to it?
Absolutely. I think also having intention, another idea that people might want to do is there's a voice. You can ask that voice a question. And for me, sometimes Well, I haven't been going to Sola to work these days. But when I would go to work, I would set my intention for the day, and I would ask my spirit, my God, a question and say, you know what, God, how do you want to use me today? How can I
Mm,
help someone? Please line things up for me so that I can see what you need from me to help others. And because I'm in a job that really is giving to others, doing their skin and all of that, I just feel that was always my intention every day when I would drive to work. And a lot of times I would, I would see it right away at work. It would tell me someone would come in, and I'd say, "Okay, gotcha. I'm hearing you." And then there are other days where it might not happen as loud, but I can always uh, hear it. I can always hear it. You just have to really listen and pay attention and be aware of what's around you and where there might be a need, and then it becomes more familiar.
I love that, Shelley. One of the tips that I saw said recognize your intuition's voice. So know what that intuition sounds like to you and how it's different from, say, like the fear voice in your head or the negative voice in your head. They respond differently. And so knowing what your intuition sounds like to you is really important. And I love that you said asking questions. I've done that before, and it's super powerful, especially when I legit ask the question out loud. I've been in the car before just driving, and I'll just say something out loud like, what do you want me to do this afternoon? I have no plans. Where should I go? What should I do? Who should I serve? And then I just will trust whatever instinct I have and start moving in a direction. And it's kind of crazy the things that can happen when you just really do ask that question out loud. Or what choice should I make right now? I really don't know. Can you please help me? And you just say it out loud, even to yourself in the car, and all of a sudden just that answer comes in, or something comes on the radio, or someone says something within the next hour, or there's several things and one thing confirms the next thing, which confirms the next thing. But speaking it out loud, there's something super powerful about actually just asking, and not just a little quiet prayer in your heart, although that's good too, but saying it out loud has some pretty powerful uh, impacts.
And I think the car is a really safe place. The
Mm-hmm.
car is a really safe place because most of us do get into a car, um, at least daily at some point. And
Right.
that's when I think that's why on the way to work, when I'm safe, and it's a voice out loud. I literally say, "Okay, how are you going to use me today? What am I going to do? How am I going to help the world? Who
Right.
needs me? What do I need?" Or if I'm having one of those days where it's not a great day, I might be a little bit bluesy, I'll say, you know what, can you just please take this from me?
Mm.
Help me to uh, be open to someone else, and help me to be giving instead of make it about me, because sometimes when we're in a bad place, we make it about ourselves. And usually what helps is when you don't make it about yourself and you can
Mhm.
just move on, put that up there on the visor of the car, and I can get out with a positive attitude.
Yeah, I love that. And here's a great thing about being in that car too, is one of the other tips is to spend a few minutes in meditation every day. And whether that's actually sitting somewhere in a Zen position and meditating, or that's just driving in the car to go pick up milk down at the grocery store, or you're driving to work, turn your radio off and just have a conversation with your intuition, with God, with your grandma, with whatever, whoever, whatever you believe, just connecting to something outside of you, and then being open and being able to listen to what comes in and how does that feel when it does come in. And one of the other activities that popped in that I thought was so amazing was to sense people. If you're in a room with other people, really just sit back and be an observer. Watch people, look at how they're moving, how they're holding themselves, what they're saying, how they're saying. And then you can ask yourself these questions like, what is that person like? Or how could I serve that person? Or what could I say to add value in this conversation? So it's not just about me one upping a person, but really getting to a vibe for the sense and the aura that people are putting off. Because then you're able to be responsive and helpful in situations with other people.
In that kind of a situation too, I think of a couple of things when you say that. I think of when you were out of town and you met those two people at the bar area where you started chatting with them, and then what evolved from that. Uh, if we have time, you should tell a little bit of that story because it's just so cool.
And
And
I
then,
thought to myself after, I should start a reality show where I just go into bars and help young women who are sitting
but you
there.
were really helpful in that. And for those people who are a little bit not as outgoing as you are when you tell this little story, is I think sometimes I just look for the person who's, just because I'm such a sap, lonely or not really talking to anyone. I try to, you can practice with just going up to people that just don't seem as outgoing, or that, maybe they might be a little bit awkward, and you never know who you're going to meet or what they're going to say to you. So anyway, tell your little story. I love it.
I'll just add it really quick. I was just at a bar in my boyfriend's hometown, and there was a young gal sitting next to me, and I wasn't drinking. I was just sitting there hanging out, and we just started this conversation, and then this other gal came up, and they were having like a little bit of a quarrel about something, and I just completely started life coaching these two women together, and we had this amazing conversation, like almost 2 hours long, dived into all these different aspects of their lives and ways that they could then go back out and just do things a little bit differently. They wanted my number, they wanted my email, and it was an amazing opportunity to really, I just sat there and thought to myself, I want to just I'm going to go sit at this bar for a couple hours. My boyfriend hangs out with his friends, and I want to really connect with someone. I want to just really make a difference. So just whatever that looks like, I'm open to it. And then here I sit next to this one gal, and then the other gal came up, and it was just this beautiful moment because I was just open to being utilized, like using my essence to just really make a difference. And when we do that in the world, whatever that is for you, beautiful things happen, and your intuition is there to guide you to do that. It could be creating art, it could be creating conversations, it could be creating beautiful experiences and moments with the people in your lives.
You really enriched those people, though. I mean, I remember you telling me the story and thinking, gosh, I wish I could have been there. The most important part of, right? I would have loved to have been there. The most important part of what you said, though, is you asked out loud. I have a few hours. I'm going to sit there. How are you going to use me? You could have met someone for 10 minutes and then another person, but you went with, your own intuition, and you were supposed to be right where you were. You helped those ladies. They ended up laughing, and it was a great day. So that's the most important thing, is follow your heart, follow your intuition. It will tell you.
Yeah. And the last tip that I want to share with people is to really be in the present moment and to stay out of crazy town. So crazy town is all those emotions that get you riled up, that pull you down into those negative ways of thinking or feeling. And it is difficult to really hear your own intuition when you're ruminating about a lot of things and when your mind is really heavy. And so it's so important that you have good people in your lives, that you have a best friend, that you have a partner that you really trust, that you got family members, that you have someone in your life that when you can't rely on your own intuition, especially when we go through really hard things, it's really hard to find our own intuition again, that you have a friend that you can rely on, and that they can kind of be that, or a therapist, I mean, I don't know, anyone, right, that you really trust and that has your best interest at heart, because sometimes we need to rely on other people's intuition to help us through those dark times.
Yes. And you were telling me really quickly, I know we only have a little bit more time. You were telling me about a book you read the other
Oh,
day. Do you
yes.
have that book nearby?
I do. I have it right here. So I was going through it before the show, but it's called Intuition on Demand, a step-by-step guide to powerful intuition you can trust. And here's the author, Lisa Kay. I want to try to get her on the show.
Wouldn't
Really,
that be
it's an
cool?
amazing book. There's so many great tips in here. We could go on and on. I mean, for days talking about the techniques and tips in this book. And she breaks down intuition and what it is and what it's not, and how to increase your own intuition. And I've learned a lot from this book, and even still I go back and dive back into it and go, oh yeah, I remember that thing, and I remember that thing. The more you use your intuition, the better you will get at it, the more you will trust it. Align with your values. Just show up every day for yourself. Do the best you can with what you've got, and your intuition will meet you wherever you are.
That was really well said. And I'm going to put it out there that we're going to be able to get Lisa to come on our show, and the universe is going to bring it.
Yes,
right?
I want her. I'm going to go. This is on my going to my high flow items for today. Sarah Gregg's book, Find Your Flow. She says, write down 3 high priority items and 3 high flow items. So book Lisa K is a high flow item for me. And if you have a question out there, whether it's on intuition, whether it's on flow, whether it's on your relationships, we got a great question next week about relationships coming in, your career, feel free to send us an email, SET2LOVE, the number 2 podcast, SET2LOVE podcast at gmail.com. And we will send you a cool Set to Love Flow for Life sticker that you can put on your computer, your notebook, your water bottle, whatever makes you happy. Thanks everyone for being here. Thank you, Shelly, for being here another day on our beautiful podcast. I appreciate you. Shelly, you want to take us out and tell people where to find more information about us?
Yes, ways you can support it is visit us at www.set2love.com. If you'd like to be featured or have a question, we're at set2lovepodcast@gmail.com. Please subscribe to us, and we would really appreciate that. Having a big community of people, we're still growing, and that is at www.patreon.com at /set2love.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great day, everyone.